everyone and welcome to CT Connect. Whether you're planning an exit strategy for your business or looking to buy a new business, knowing where to start and what to look for can feel very overwhelming. Some businesses change hands without a business broker involved, but having an experienced business broker involved to help you navigate the journey can often end up in a much better experience and a much better outcome. Today I'm joined by Mark Lewis from New Zealand Business Brokers. Mark's really experienced in buying and selling businesses, and he's willing to share some of his advice with us today. I'd like to start with the sellers.
Yep.
Where do you often see business owners going wrong when they're trying to sell their business?
Okay, thanks Kirsty for the invite. Yeah, it's an interesting area to cover off on. I think I don't think it's business owners sort of making a mistake around what they're doing here. It's really a lack of understanding.
Right.
And I think one of the key issues that comes through time and time again is preparation is really the key to a successful sale and outcome. And I'll probably give you a little analogy of that. Most people don't really prepare when they sell. It just happens and they get into a process. But if we put it in the context, if you own a house, do you wake up one morning and the next day it's on the market? The answer is no.
No.
Okay, so we can get our head around that concept, and that concept of getting your house ready for sale is no different from getting a business ready for sale. So, and the good thing about using a real estate agent, they come through, they can see that little hole in the wall in the kids' rooms, a bit of paint needed here. So there's preparation that you would typically do to prepare a house for sale, and you might spend 1 to 3 months doing that, or whatever time frame it might be. The same applies to a business where we need to take that same approach and get the business ready.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so preparation is the key, and so where we seem to find some of the aspects that aren't quite right is around sort of disorganized financials.
Right.
So very important, and I suppose we are recommending for a lot of people and almost insisting that they get their advisors involved.
Great.
It's critical. So disorganized financials. The other thing is in terms of unclear around their operations. So there are operational aspects that need to be looked at. There could be leases, staff contracts. There's a whole myriad of issues that come to light in that preparation process. Mm-hmm. And it's really important that you've got someone that can guide you through that process. And one of the key aspects, or a lot of people are looking for during that preparation process, is to try and identify the value.
Right.
Now, depending on the level of preparation, that value can vary quite considerably. Mm-hmm. And so for us, one of the key starting points to sort of exploring where you're at is to do what we call a fair market appraisal. Now, when we do that fair market appraisal, we provide you with a whole range of questions to get an understanding of where the business is within each part of the business, but also it gives us the ability to look at your financials. Now, once we're able to establish what's going on, we can see, and we're in a position to quite clearly see what needs to be rectified mm-hmm. to get the best outcome.
Right.
Now, some people don't have the benefit of time to do that. So whatever it is, that's what we end up working with. But if you can look to the future and go, hey, I am considering selling in the next whatever period of time, working with a good broker will enable you to maximize the return that you get.
Right.
In a lot of cases, if you don't do that, you're leaving money on the table. And we're not talking about a couple of $100.
No.
We're talking tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars by just getting your house in order before you go to market. Right. So, it's a good question, but I think for a lot of people, they're not quite sure how that process would work, and that's why you need to get some professional help and to work with you on that.
Great.
Yeah.
And from a purchaser's point of view, mm-hmm. what should they be looking for, and also how can you help a purchaser?
Ironically, the opposite of what we've just talked about. If a seller, is prepared the business in the best way possible, that's what a buyer's looking for.
Right.
Good, clean financials, stability, profitability, and a lot of those areas where you would go through in due diligence looking for issues, they're resolved. So part of the process that we would go through would be working with the owner and this relates to the buyer, in terms of it's easy to work out what's good about it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what we're looking for, and no business is perfect, is to identify where those issues are, and sometimes they can't be addressed for whatever reason. And it's very important for us to identify that, because when we meet with prospective buyers, the first thing we tell them is, before we get going, hey, the lease isn't quite ready to renew, or this isn't right. But if people understand that up front, they make the call, yes, okay, we can live with that, let's keep going, or no, they don't. So I think, for buyers, and if you think about a buyer, and behind them sits their advisors.
Mm-hmm.
So for us, setting the seller up correctly makes it easier for the buyer.
Right.
Okay, and when you've got a whole lot of issues that haven't been resolved, that's when things don't sell, or they sell for a price way below expectation. So the buyers are looking for those types of things. We are seeing a different type of buyer coming through as well,
mm-hmm.
and that we've got people that are now very experienced at running businesses that are looking to buy another business, multiple businesses, and so on. And it's been quite intriguing to see a bit of a trend that's been going on for a little while, which is around acquisitions. And everyone thinks of mergers and acquisitions. This has always been the domain of corporates,
mm-hmm.
and we've all seen the movies, Wall Street, all that type of thing.
Yeah.
But as a strategy for growth, it is so smart that we're seeing plumbers that are now really into acquisitions, mm-hmm. and doing big roll-ups, electricians, and so now it's open to the domain of a lot of different industries,
right.
and at different sizes. So one of the things that we've developed, and it's working very well, is what we call a buyer's agent service. So rather than our client is the seller, in this situation, our client is the buyer. Okay, and what we do is we identify the criteria that they're looking for, and then we actually go out and knock on doors. And so rather than trying to buy what's in the market, we will go and buy what they actually want.
Right.
So it's quite a unique service. We've had some good results. We just closed a $5 million deal last week, and we've got, and this is at the other end of the scale, a $70 million transaction going on at the moment. Don't get me wrong, most of the businesses we're selling are in the hundreds of thousands to early few millions. So,
right.
Yeah, so that's quite a unique and interesting service that's starting to evolve.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your insights. As you can tell, there's a wealth of knowledge here that Mark and the team at New Zealand Business Brokers have. So if you're looking to buy or sell a business, just reach out and I'd be happy to connect you. We're here to help.